This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So basically, we covered what is SaaS model and what is on-premises version available in AppDynamics
Hello,
yesterday.
I can't hear anything. Is someone speaking?
What is that? Praveen, you're about to say something? Okay. So today, what we are going to see, we are going to see uh, architecture diagram of AppDynamics. Okay. So basically, yesterday also I gave a little high-level understanding of AppDynamics. Today I'm going to give a little more. Yeah. So basically, this is the SaaS model, software as a service, architecture diagram of AppDynamics. Okay. Uh, basically, say if you have application agent, if you have machine agent, if you have user experience agent, if you have database agent, whatever the agent that you're having, what will happen? Every agent will collect the data and it'll send back to your AppDynamics SaaS platform. Okay, it is all unidirectional. It is only one direction. Hello.
Yeah, I just missed few content, I believe. You just
Yeah,
started now?
Yeah,
uh,
just now we started.
okay. Because I was also not able to listen anything.
Now you are able to hear.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Now
now
I
I
was.
can able to hear.
Okay.
Can you
Yeah.
repeat it from starting onwards?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'll do that, Rajini. Yeah. So basically, the SaaS architecture, the different agents are there, right? So application agent, machine agent, user experience agent, database agent, like that, right? All those agents are collecting the data and it is sending to AppDynamics SaaS account in a unidirectional way. Unidirectional way is nothing but from agent to AppDynamics SaaS account. Okay, so it is one-way communication. It is not nothing can be done from AppDynamics SaaS to agent. You are not doing any instruction. You are not doing anything from the SaaS to the agent. But agent will be a, you can see the arrow mark is going flowing in towards the SaaS platform. Okay, there is nothing is coming in this direction, right? It is all one directional. So what is that meaning? Agent is collecting the data and it is actually sending the data back to your AppDynamics SaaS account. Okay, and that is what they represented here in A, B, C, D, and all. You can see A what they are representing. Traffic is APM database metric because database metric they are trying to send it, and then what they are saying it is port number. Protocol is HTTPS. Both the way it will happen HTTP or HTTPS, and then the communication is 443. Since if it is a HTTPS communication, it will go via 443, and then this is what the domain. Usually the domain will be each SaaS account will have their own domain. That is what they represented, customer SaaS.appdynamics.com. Okay, similarly for B is nothing but log and transaction analytics. It is communicating via HTTPS and the port number is 443 and the endpoint URL is like this. Say C is nothing but end user monitoring weekend data. The protocol is this, default port is this, and this is what the default domain. D is nothing but geolocation resolution mapping data. This is a protocol, this is a port. So basically what I am trying to tell you here, it is all unidirectional. If it is HTTP, it is 8080. If it is HTTPS, it will be 443, and this is how the data is flowing from the agents to the AppDynamics SaaS account. Clear, guys? Any question, guys, here?
Here,
Yeah,
Appdynamics SaaS account in the sense, is it controller?
Controller, yeah, controller.
Okay.
yeah, I have one question, Saranam. So
Yeah,
you
please.
said unidirectional, and there is another called bidirectional. Just give me little, of one or two words. What is difference between these two? Union versus bidirectional.
See, unidirectional, say you think it like I am giving an example.
Mhm.
I am agent, you are controller. I am instructing something to you. That
Mm.
data that I'm giving, this is a voice message, right? Whatever I'm talking, it is coming to you. It is coming from me to you. That is a unidirectional one. Okay.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
are also talking to me, you are telling something to me and instructing something to me, that is a bidirectional activity. Here SaaS account of AppDynamics is not instructing anything to the agent, but once agent is actually communicated, the agent will talk to AppDynamics SaaS account through the data, whatever the log it is collecting, right? It is actually sending the data to AppDynamics. Clear?
Yeah. You mean to say one way direction for
One way.
unidirectional? Yeah.
Yeah. One way communication.
Got it.
So similarly, the architecture of on-premises is quite a similar one. Only thing is, as I mentioned, it is all on-premise within the firewall, within the infrastructure, within the LAN, whatever you call it as. Okay. So basically, what will happen here? Also, it is considered to be unidirectional, but the components are represented little different. There is a controller infrastructure, event services, end user monitoring, geolocation things are there. It is all separate things that they mention. Okay. So if I configure, maybe I'll explain that. If I configure AppDynamics in my on-premises, no, what will I do? Usually, you can go to Google. Okay, AppDynamics, but what is the problem? Like no, yeah, what is the problem? AppDynamics SaaS account license, you cannot straight away get it. You need to talk to the people in the sense that support people, and then you have to give the business case, and then they will provide the license based on the need, or else they will ask you to go with the SaaS account itself, because SaaS account is free. Okay, so basically what we are doing here, just I'll uncheck everything so that it will be easy for you to understand what is actually required for us. Okay, this is an Enterprise Console Windows version, guys. Okay, this Enterprise Console Windows version you have to download, and then if you start installing it, what will happen? Initially, it will try to install a component called controller. Basically, this Enterprise Console is a package. In that package, if you try to install, it will basically install controller, and then it will try to install event services. Okay, so don't think like what is this? Controller is nothing but UI. Event services is nothing but it is taking the event activities, whatever which agent is doing what and how the data is selected, those things. And internally, some database will also be installed. And there is a prerequisite for each and everything. There is a there is a demo installation. There is a small installation. There is a large installation. Like that, it is available in that the installation. While doing the installation, there is a prerequisite also. This much RAM should be there, this much hard disk should be there, like that it usually mentioned. So basically, you need to have those prerequisite, and then if you are installing this dump file, it will try to install the controller as well as the enterprise console, which will actually complete your installation. Basically, this is a installation. Okay, so once you are completing the installation, it the URL in which you are launching the AppDynamics, right? it will be like your host name or your IP address itself, because it is locally created application, right? So it will be your local host, or your host name is will be there in the URL. Once you're launching that, it will be similar to your SaaS account. Okay, in SaaS account, what is happening? Straight away you are giving your organization URL and creating the account, right? Once after the account is created, you have URL, username, password, and then straight away you are logging into the SaaS account. That is the difference between the SaaS account and the on-premises, right? SaaS account, you are only having username, password, and the URL. You are doing that. But in on-premises, what is happening? In on-premises, you are installing first prerequisite is you are installing the controller and the event services. Then the URL is actually generating. In that URL, you are using your username and password for the logging into that. That is the difference between your on-premises and the SaaS model. Mm, that's what the structural representation that they mentioned. You have controller, you have event services, those things, and then end user monitoring and geo servers are additional value add components. Here, say there, it is all 443, right? Because SaaS account is a internet exposed application. There it is all 443 and 8080. Here there are things only, it is 443 and 8080. Remaining thing and all, it is all specific port. You don't want to do anything while installing, it will automatically take that port. Okay, it will ask you, or you can override also, guys. There, while it will ask you, do you want to install database? That time it will give you one port number. If you still go with the default installation, you can go, or else you can change the port also. That is, there is a possibility to change the port as well. Okay, so this is how your on-premises installation and your SaaS account installation is happening, and these are the port level information for the on-premises and the SaaS account, guys. Any question, guys, till now?
Hi,
Is it
Sarwan.
default
So,
port?
Yeah, default port.
okay, Sarwan, I wanted to ask, like, if I want to have multiple, like you have shown here, you have multiple event clusters and multiple controllers. So in that case, how installation will take place? It's like we will be
No,
executing that install enterprise console in on multiple nodes, and then they will
no, no, no,
integrate.
no.
How?
No, it is one installation, Praveen. The enterprise console is a single entity. Say, I created one SaaS account. I showed you, right? I created one
Uh-huh.
SaaS. SaaS account URL, username, password is common entity. User only different. Users are
Okay.
different, but it is a common domain. Okay. Similarly, when you are installing the enterprise console, it is a one installation, one-time installation. Okay. But from the enterprise console, if you download agents, mean that will be a different agent. Because if you want to install 10 application server, 10 machine agent, 10 user experience agent,
No,
10
no,
database agent,
that that's fine. That I got. What I'm asking about the event cluster, like, yeah, with the enterprise console, we will get the controller and the
that is
event
one time.
services, right?
That is one
Right.
time. That is one
So,
time.
okay, so you mean that only one server can act as an event? Only in one server we will be having controller as well as event services. It will be not like here architecture you are showing. It is having event cluster, node 1, node 2, node 3, node n, right?
No, no,
So
no.
that means there are multiple node which are acting as a event cluster or event
Yeah.
services.
Yeah, say it is like, if you are enterprise level customer, okay, you
Right.
definitely know that you have lot of data involved. At that time you can keep these things separate. Okay, that
Uh-huh.
is what I told you. If you say in this download page itself, you can see I
Mm-hmm.
showed you the enterprise console as a package, right? Okay,
Right.
here there is a separate component for event services alone, even
Okay.
services alone. Okay, cluster manager alone. So what is that meaning here? If you wish, you can have multiple architecture, multiple tiers can be created. Okay, multiple tiers can be created, but as I used to this kind of installation and all, right, what people used to do, a single box where everything will be installed, but it will be a elastic box. Okay, so anytime they can add it up certain memory. Okay, if it is
No.
on premises installation. Okay.
Okay. Okay, but in that case, it will be quite vulnerable because there is only one node involved. So we need to have multiple controllers and multiple event services. So is that possible? And
Yeah.
how? Okay, if I install controller on one server and then I
Hmm.
want to have a different server for event services. So how that these two services can be integrated? There
That
must
is
be some
what. See,
integration,
no, that is what I'm saying. This event services is a standalone component as well. You can
right?
you can download and install it. There is no harm in that. But
Okay,
I'm
I
saying,
install.
what is it?
Yeah, I have installed event services and other servers. So how it can configure to the controller? Is there any information on how to do the configuration with the cluster mode?
This is the representation. If you are going via this multiple clusters, you need to have this many cluster integration. Internally, it is all handled, Praveen. Okay. So if you are installing that, this is how connection is establishing. Say when you are installing it, it will ask you for which port you want to have a connection establishment, and then in a controller installation it will ask you which event services that you are connecting. That will automatically will do the task. It will ask you the URL in which URL is nothing but the host name. Okay, host name in which you are going to connect it, and then the port name that it is actually establishing the connection, it will do the purpose.
Okay, no, there is a bit confusion here. What I'm saying, okay, so first we have to install the standalone event
Enterprise
servers.
console. Enterprise
Inter
console.
okay, but in the enterprise console we need to mention the different event services, right? So
Hmm.
how it's gonna be? Okay, if I done the enterprise console installation, so there will be cluster and event services automatically. Those agent will be configured, those services will be
Yeah,
running.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if I want to have a standalone event server, so okay, later on I install the event server, standalone event server. So how that event server, a B node, will connect to the enterprise console, or you can say the controller basically, because controller will be controlling all the event services, right?
That is what I'm saying. While doing the standalone event services, it will ask the details of your controller as well, right? That time you are going to
Okay.
give that detail. And also you are giving the port detail as well, where this controller is talking to this event services means that will actually establish a connection, I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. See, I right now we are not covering the on-premises installation. If it is there, I would have explained that. Well, there is a pop-up will come. Okay, I'll tell you. There is a pop-up will come. In that, whatever the port or the services that you want to connect it along with the controller. That time, if you are giving the detail, it automatically do the connection establishment. It will go in green color light. If it is in green color light, the connection between the controller and the event services is actually established, and then you are ready to launch your controller. That is what it will mention. Similarly, when you are having a standalone event services that you are installing, similar procedure. You are going to configure your controller with the event services, and it will again show you that it is in green color, so that in that way you are doing your connection establishment. Clear?
Okay. So, but do we have any installation guide? Because try to check the documents where they provide some installation guide on how to do the
But
on-prem
but you are
installation.
doing a trial version. You are doing a trial version.
No, we have actually on-prem version, but I'm not aware because the team is different and guys, the person who
Uh,
did it,
why
he is
I
not
ask this question?
in the
In
organ.
on-premises version, it is not supported. Multi-tenant, multi-node things is not allowed in the what I would say free trial version. And also, you need to have which license you are having. First, you go back and then talk to your respective stakeholder what license
Uh-huh.
you are having. say if it is a demo or if it is small or if it is large, extra large, say demo, I don't think you will have multi-tenant option is there. You cannot
No,
do that.
we have
Okay, if it is
large scale license because
in that
it's
case, you can straight away ask them, I need to have that enterprise establishment, connection establishment with my controller. There is a procedural document they will provide you. It is there.
okay. I need to contact then AppDynamics support.
Yeah. But if you ask me, if you are able to connect your infrastructure with me, I'll also try do that. But I don't know whether you will be having the provision to do that. But instead, you can talk to AppDynamics to get that thing done. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. If you face any problem, you please let me know. I'll do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Yes.
Saravanan,
Yeah.
Rajini here.
Yeah, Rajni.
So we have in our organization we have multiple controllers. Say something like for lower environment, 6 controllers, and for prod environment, 6 controllers. So actually, I don't know the architecture how they have differentiated. I would like to know how it will be possible, like 6 controllers for the lower and 6 controllers for prod.
For the same
Can you
application.
explain me how?
For the same application.
No, we have thousands of applications, right? We will
Yeah.
onboard few in based
That
on
is the reason.
LOBs. We will be onboarding.
Yeah, that is the reason, Rajni. Why I asked this question is that, say I am a Amazon client and also Flipkart client. You think like that, then in that way I need to maintain two separate entity.
We are for banking guys.
Yeah, we have two separate entity that I want to mention, two different controllers. So if you are Amazon user, you will use that controller URL to log in into that. I am a Flipkart user means I will log in into that and I'll try to use that. If I am admin of both, I can also use both, but most of the time that is not going to happen. Only a separate user set will be handling this separate controller. Clear, Rajini?
It got clear. But in this scenario, how these controllers and event services? I
In your
mean, there
case,
will be separate.
what Praveen asked is different question, Rajini. Okay.
Yeah,
In your
I
case,
got it.
hmm,
Yeah,
in your case, it's
yeah, I got it. Tell me.
different scenario. You are having a separate set of package itself, separate set of installation of the controller, event services, all those components, because it is all separate applications, separate owners, separate people are using it. Okay, so in your case, it's totally different. In this case, common controller, multiple event services. Okay, but I don't think,
Okay.
Praveen, realistically, I don't think it is required. Okay, realistically, it is not required. Okay, but if your need is like that, you can do that. Okay, but I saw many of the customers, they will not even try to do that because they will have because you think like this, you have n number of controller, n number of event services. It is a headache for the people, those who are maintaining the infrastructure, right? For them it is real tough task to maintain the entire thing. But you think about having it in a common place, but doing it in a elasticity mode, that time it is a single infrastructure, they can maintain it and then they can do the archiving, they can do the backup process, everything. For them it will be a little easy task. But when you are having a multi-node, multi tier architecture, no, that time it is really it is really hard for them to maintain the infrastructure. But I would say if it is that it is your requirement, you can do it. But when you are thinking about the maintenance activity and all, that will be a little tough task. Okay, so we'll come back. There are the AppDynamics license that we are using, right? It is 15 days free, which is actually called as self-service pro trial. What we are using now, it is a self-service pro trial. Okay, what is the self-service pro trial will actually do, you know, say, just a minute. Okay, self-service pro trial, they are giving 5 units of application agent Java, 5 units of application agent .NET, 5 units of application agent PHP, 5 units of application agent Node.js, like that. You have certain eligibility for doing certain activity. Okay, certain eligibility to do certain activity. This is for the self-service license, whatever we are saying, right? Self-service pro trial license. Okay, say if it is beyond 15 days. Okay, after 15 days, what will happen? This account, everybody will ask this question. After 15 days, what will happen? So after 15 days, this entire five trial was there, no? 5 units of trial was there, no? It will all become 1 unit. One unit free trial, 1 unit free trial, like that. It will become one Java agent, one .NET agent, one PHP agent, like that. Only you can do the configuration. But before the trial, you can have multiple agent configuration. After the trial, it will become one agent configuration. That is what we are doing it in this learning account. But in the realistic world, it's totally different. How many you want to procure, you can procure it based on the bundle activity. Whatever the bundle that you want to procure, you can still procure it. Okay.
Sarun, can you show how to check this app license? Like I'm not getting that option. Okay, setting and license.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So basically, first 15 days you will have multiple agent configuration provision. After 15 days, it will become only one single agent configuration option. Okay. Okay. We'll move on to our first topic, which is nothing but our App Dynamics application, which is nothing but we are going to do a application agent configuration. Okay, first and foremost thing, what we are going to do, we are going to do a application agent configuration. Okay, so what will I do? This is how your screen will be there. This, okay, fresh screen will be like this. Okay, with by default it will be like this. Either you can click here, create an application, or else go to the home screen, guys, and then there is a getting started option is there. Getting started wizard will be there. Every agents are available here. Every agents
It's
are
around, where are you going to teach us installation, or just you are going to, do you want to install our site, or what is plan on
I'm
this?
I'm going to tell you how to configure installation configuration.
Okay, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the agent list page, right? So basically what I'm going to do, I am going to configure a Java agent, because I need to configure to one of the Java application. Okay. So it is like this. Say the representation is like this. First I should have a just a minute. First I should have a Java application, and then I have a App Dynamics SaaS account, and then I need to have a agent. All should be communicating. Okay, all should be communicating. Say the agent should communicate with the application. The agent should communicate with the App Dynamics SaaS. Okay, this is App Dynamics SaaS. Okay, this is agent, and this is your application, which is a Java application in this case. Okay, because I told you I'm going to show one Java application, one Node.js application. So for today, I'm going to explain how this Java application we are basically trying to configure. Okay. First and foremost thing what you have to do, guys, go to Google. Okay. Apache Tomcat, Apache Tomcat server. Okay, community edition download, community download, whatever. Okay, you have to go to the Apache Tomcat website. Okay, in that you can say Apache Tomcat 9 also. You can download this um, uh, version. Okay, you can download the zip version. Okay, you can download it, or you can particularly download your OS level also, sorry, bit level also, 64-bit or 32-bit, whatever. Okay, or a core level also you can download it. Once you are downloading that, you will have a zip file of your this. This is how your Apache Tomcat folder will be here. It will be in zipped format. You have to unzip it. Okay, you right click, extract, and then unzip it, guys. So basically this is how, not these things, guys. I'll delete it maybe. If- just a minute. Okay, if you unzip it, if you unzip that Apache Tomcat folder, inside that if you go, this is how a structure will be there, guys. Okay, structure will be there. First and foremost thing what you guys should do, go to the conf folder. Under that there is a file called Tomcat users. If I open it, okay, I'll show you what I did. I added this line, guys. Okay, I added this line because I'm creating a user with a username, password, and these are the roles that I create. By default, it will not be there, guys. Please remember, by default, this will not be there. You have to come and add here and then save the file. Okay, what I'm doing, in order to make you guys understand, I'm selecting all. Okay, I'm pasting it into our chat. Okay, you guys can take it and put it in your notepad so that you can copy replace. Okay, I copy paste in the chat, guys. Okay, so you can use it. So what I did, I added a profile with the username, password, and then saved the file. Okay, so what you can do, you can create a profile. First of all, you created a profile, and then what I'm doing, I'm going to the folder again. Okay, I'm going to the folder again, and I am going inside bin folder this time. Okay, go to the command. Usually how you will go, select the address bar, type cmd, and then go to the command. This is the one way. Or else traditionally how people will do, they will launch the command window, type cd and give the path, and then they will go to the path. Either way you can do it. Okay, for now I came to the shortcut method and came to this page, to this window. So and then what you have to do, you have to type startup.bat. There is a file called startup.bat, and then click enter, guys. Okay, for now I did not explain anything related to App Dynamics. Okay, till now it is a sample application that I am setting in my local machine. Okay, I did not explain anything to you related to App Dynamics. It is a sample application that I am trying to set it up in my local machine. Okay, for now you don't read this message and all, because it is showing the agent information, but you think like you are by default downloaded a Apache Tomcat server, extracted it, created a user profile, and then you are launching that server. You are starting that server basically. Okay, my server started successfully. What I can, how I can check it, how I can check my application is working means I, I can go here, type localhost 8080. My Apache Tomcat server should be starting here. You can see the server started. That is the reason this page is coming. You can ask me this question: how you are going to localhost 8080? How did you know? How did you know it is running in 8080? Anybody can go to the conf folder. Conf folder. There is a file name called server. You can see this is actually currently running in 8080. As per the configuration, it is running in 8080. Okay. If you wish, say somebody will think like, no, I don't want to allow this application running in 8080 because I may have multiple things are happening in 8080. I don't want to disturb my 8080 port. Means you can change the port here. You have a provision to change the port here and then restart your server. Basically, it will run in that specified port. Okay. So till now, I don't want to replace anything. I made it running in 8080 itself, guys. Okay. And then the next step is you have to click the manager app. This pop-up will be coming, guys. Here only I told you why I told you to create a user profile, because it will ask this pop-up. That time you need to give the username and password. In our case, username password is Tomcat. If I am giving sign in, it has to go to the console window. It has to go to the configuration window of the Apache Tomcat server. Okay. So what is I'm going to do? I am going to choose a file. This file I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, don't think like what is this guy doing. I'm going to share this file, which is a war file. Just okay, this particular war file I will share with you guys. Okay, you have to select the war file, and then if you click deploy, what will happen? This file will be deployed in Apache Tomcat server. You can see on top of the screen there is a file will be there. You can see the file will be deployed already. Apache Tomcat server, there is a JPEG store application deployed. Once it is deployed, if you click this link, the application will be launching, guys. Okay, you can see application is actually working. You can see I'm able to sign in. I can do certain other transaction and all I'm able to do. Okay, till now what I did, guys, this is how your organization developer also usually do, guys. How he will be doing? He will be preparing a war file, compiled code. It will be of all the information. They will create a war file, and then they will go to the Apache Tomcat server. How we went now, right? They'll go to the Apache Tomcat server, and then they will deploy that war file, and then they will give you only the URL, endpoint URL only they will give you. As a user, what you are doing, you are using the URL and giving that username password, and then you are working on it. But behind the screen, these are the actions that are happening. What is happening? There is a war file, they are deploying it into the Apache Tomcat server, and then they are giving the URL, guys. Okay, this is how you have to set your application. Till now, why I showed this, because you need to have application before learning. So that is the reason we are setting it up, this sample application. Okay, without the sample application you cannot learn anything, right? App Dynamics configurations and all, if you want to learn it, you need to have a understanding. So that is the reason I showed this sample application creation. Till now, any question, guys? Anybody have any question?
Sarvan, the file which you shared is not having that password line. I think, can you attach the file itself?
I did not get your question. You want me to send that file itself directly, Asif?
No, it's configuration file which you pasted in the chat, right?
Yeah, it is a configuration file. For your reference only I gave you. You have to add one line in your configuration file, in your user file, Tomcat user file.
Okay.
Saravanan,
Saravanan, can you
I
tell the
like
file name once again? Which file did we do we have to update with the user details?
You can go to the conf file. This is a file, Tomcat users.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So as per the picture, guys, this part completed. This part complete. We set up a sample application. Okay, we set up a sample application. This part is actually complete. Now we are going back to AppDynamics. Okay, I came to this wizard and I'm selecting Java application. Means basically what it will do, it will go to the configuration page, Java application configuration page. Actually saying AppDynamics is actually little user friendly only, because they used to give documentation wherever you are doing any configuration, they'll give you a documentation. See, you have a documentation available here as well. Okay, in my case, the first point is I know all these are known factors only for me, and then the second point, I know which JVM my application, this Apache Tomcat server, and then this JPET store and all I'm having, right? I know the JVM is Sun and JRocket JVM only. The other JVM is IBM JVM, but I know my JVM is Sun and JRocket. If you have any query clarification, then you need to talk to your developer. What is our application JVM? That time they will definitely help you out in telling that it is a Sun JRocket or it is a IBM JVM. Okay, in my case, this application is a Sun JRocket JVM. Okay, and then the below one is our SaaS account URL. You can see the Teresa something is there, right? It is there. And then what you have to do, you have to click download of your agent, Java agent.
Okay, Sarvan, in the in market there are only 2 JVMs available, or there are multiple?
I would say all the other things will be come under this thing itself. Okay, I would say nowadays it is all IBM JVM, right? Latest all IBM JVM. Old one is Sun. It was already had it with Sun, right? So that is a Sun JRocket.
Okay,
But
so by default,
I'll tell you, there are small JVMs are there, very unknown level JVMs are there, but we don't want to worry about it, right? Basically we will use this famous JVMs only we use, so it will all come under that.
Saronan, how do we differentiate the JVMs? Like, see, for all JVM, Java, it will comes under Sun JRocket.
No, that is what I'm saying. Say this Java component is actually evolved over the period. First, initially it was there with the Sun people. Okay, then it is now it is they IBM is also having their own JVMs. I'll maybe show you, but I don't want to make you people confused. That is the reason I did not explain that. JVM types.
No, it's JVM is based on the application. What you're saying?
Yeah, based on the application. Yeah, who developed
So
your
you
application, right?
you're saying for Apache, right? Now,
No, not for Apache. No, not in that way. In which JDK or your Java is running, your application is
so
running.
we mean to say the developer itself is developed on this JVM, right?
Yeah.
you mean WAR file which you imported? That is the JVM.
No. WAR file is a compiled file, guys. Okay, JVM is nothing but say if I deploy my application, that application, say you can take it as Apache Tomcat also, no problem. Okay, you are deploying your file in the Apache Tomcat server, means it will create a Java virtual machine to run your compiled code. Okay, it is all class file will be converted into your machine understanding code, right? It has to run. So there JVM will be created automatically. That JVM is either is Java JVM, Sun JVM, or IBM JVM. That is what we are typically representing here. Basically, if you talk to your developer, you will get this idea. But why I did not confuse you guys, like the lot of different JVMs are there in the industry, but those are all not famous. Okay, only famous one they listed it here. Okay, you can see here Sun Oracle. Okay, you are able to see, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are all the different JVM options are there, but we don't want to consider these things and all. Predominantly our things will be either coming in Sun JVM if it is a little older one, or if it is the latest one, people will be using a IBM JVM. Okay.
Oh, okay. But if we have some application or some, you can say that Apache Tomcat kind of web server, then if it is having different JVM also, that is also supported in AppDynamics, right? If we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
we will
It
be
is no, it is supported. It is supported.
okay, okay.
So what about say something like WebLogic, WebSphere, Ozo,
Everywhere,
or
that is
something
all.
like that?
Whatever you are saying is a infra. Say
Okay.
everywhere the JVM will be created. Only thing is how your Java is handled. Based on that, only this JVM concept is coming. Okay, Java virtual machine is nothing but a virtual machine where your Java code is executed, right? So based on that, what is your JDK, JRE, those things are there, right? Uh,
Yeah.
that is in that way only it is categorized.
What
Okay.
about .NET?
.NET is totally a different concept. It is not their CLR. Here it is JVM, there it is CLR.
Okay. Thank you.
Their runtime environment is different in .NET. Okay, so I downloaded the agent. So I'm gonna extract that agent which is downloaded from the AppDynamics SaaS account. Okay, I extracted it. Okay, if you come back to the place, what they are saying, you first unzip that. Okay, I unzipped it, and then what you have to do, you have to give this path. What is that path? Java agent : where you kept your Java agent / app agent / Java agent .java. Okay, this is what they gave the path. Okay, this path has to be replaced with where. See, if you have any question or clarification, what they will do, for exact instruction which server you have. These are the different application servers. Okay, so in my case, I'm selecting Apache Tomcat. If you click install instruction, basically they will provide installations guide only for the Apache Tomcat. Installation guide for the Apache Tomcat will be inside, guys. Okay, so what they mentioned, as per the procedure, you don't want to go to the procedure and all. I know the procedure, right? So what you do, you have to prepare a link like this, and then copy paste into a Catalina file. Go to the Apache Tomcat server, guys. Okay, Apache Tomcat, that path. What I'm doing, I'm going to the Apache Tomcat path. Okay, under the bin folder there is a file called Catalina. Okay, there is a file called Catalina. I am opening that Catalina file. Okay, inside that, if I go okay, what I have to do, they mentioned, right, Java agent, the path of the agent of the entire. This is how you have to prepare. You can see the link also. Okay, this link and this link. Only difference what you have to do, this / instead of putting this / you have to put this // guys. That is the only I would say kind of a bug. Okay, you have to If you are not putting any double quotes, you have to, sometimes this forward slash will work. Instead, what you can do, you can put a double quotes, the path itself, put it in the double quotes, and then give it like this, guys. This is a syntax. I'll copy paste this also in the chat. You guys can take it.
So
Okay.
Saravanan, so updating the Catalina and all this cannot be done by normal performance testers, right? I think it should be done only by the admin teams who have
Yeah,
the rights
truly,
to access
truly,
the.
truly. Truly, but what we are doing here in this course journey, we are trying to give you 100% understanding of what is happening. That is the reason I'm showing this. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes you think like this. Sometimes the data is not coming at all to App Dynamics. What will you say? What will you talk to your developer? You will say, go and check your Catalina file. Is that the path is properly configured or not?
Okay.
Then you should know that knowledge, right? You should have that understanding. Then only you can talk to the developer. So that is the reason I'm doing this. Okay. So
Sure.
I'm going to the path where I extracted the file. I'm taking that path. See, okay, and I'm going here as well, and I'm replacing it. Okay. Set it to wait.
Okay, this line is in by default it will be there, or we need to add this
No,
line from
no,
set command?
you have to add. You have to add. You have to
But
this
how?
set Catalina OPTS this command. No, you have to add it.
Okay, but how we decide to add it on 227 row? Why it is not in above? Like how that is?
Just I'll complete. I'll complete. So first of all, I told you the instruction screen, right? You have to follow that instruction. Maybe that is a here I mentioned like Catalina export Catalina these, right? For Linux they mentioned, for Windows they mentioned everything, they mentioned it. Okay. So once you are having that instruction, you go to say you in the Apache Tomcat actually saying anywhere you paste it, it will work. Usually anywhere you, if you are pasting this Catalina OPTS file, it has to work. But usually what I used to do, somewhere initial configuration, these are the initial configurations that are setting it up, right? You somewhere in the initial configuration completed, just before JDK Java options are there, right? I used to paste there. Okay, I used to paste there. So set Catalina OPTS just before your Java JDK Java options. Before to that, I used to paste. Okay, paste it, and then what you have to do, go back. Say like my server is already running. What I'm doing, shut down that bat. I'm shutting down. Okay. Now if I start it, guys. Okay, in your machine. Okay, I'll explain here. Now the agent is also available, downloaded it. Now we are going to do the connection establishment with the App Dynamics SaaS. Okay, so what I can do, I can start this server, startup.bat. That time you should have full registration info, this information, and then the Java loaded information, App Dynamics connected information, everything should come, guys. Okay, if it is coming only, you did a proper configuration. If it is not coming, you have to go back and check start App Dynamics Java agent successfully. Every message is coming, right? So if you are properly giving this URL into the Catalina file, and then that time if you are replaying it, okay, that time your connection will be properly establishing it. Now you think it, guys. I created a sample application. I downloaded a agent from App Dynamics, and I configured this agent inside the Catalina file. So this connection establishment is done. This connection establishment is done. Now this two connection establishment, the agent and the App Dynamics SaaS connection establishment should be happening. Okay, so what happened? My server started now. Okay, purposefully what I'm doing, I'm going here doing some kind of a transaction in my application. Just a minute, it is restarted, so we have to come from the front. Somewhere you try to access this application. Okay, so this is kind of creating a load so that your app dynamics through the port 443, it will try to understand somebody is giving some traffic to me. So what you have to do, you have to scroll down and see agent connected. Okay, agent connected. So what is that meaning? Agent connected to app dynamics SaaS, and you did the configuration of agent with your application. Okay, now what is happening? uh, you need to, it is saying waiting for data. You need to do some traffic creation, guys. Okay, fundamentally what you have to do, you have to give some traffic creation. You can keep on clicking somewhere some traffic that you are giving it to this application, which has to reach to your app dynamics. Usually it will take some 2 to 3 minutes for the data to be refreshed. Some load. Usually what will I do, I'll show you tomorrow. I have a JMeter script prepared for this application, so straight away I used to start the JMeter script. Basically it will work. So you wait for some time. If it is not refreshed, okay, sometimes it will happen, guys. If it is not refreshed, go to the application tab straight away. You can see the application is created. This application is created and it started capturing 4 calls. Response time, it is all started capturing. Till now I'll stop it here, guys. Tomorrow we'll go into a detailed understanding of it. With this we'll wrap up our today's session, guys. Okay,
So,
Hey,
Saravanan, can
Saravanan,
you share the war file today?
what is that?
Can you share the war file today?
Yeah, you
see,
give your
because
you give your mail ID to me through Google Drive. I will share it.
yeah, you can also share me this con file which you given,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, sure, Surendra,
yeah, what
sure.
you can, yeah. You want to send out to your email ID, or can we add in our WhatsApp that
WhatsApp, please, because from the training center they used to send it, so you send it
okay,
through WhatsApp.
yeah, we will send it and that we'll paste our emails in a WhatsApp so that you can send out that relevant
Yeah,
information for installation.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
sure, Surendra. Thanks everyone for joining today's session, and have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.